So last week I was asked to speak at a webinar, and the webinar was hosted by a fellow called Dunn, who is a photography and mindset coach here in Australia, and also by the company called Global Image Products, which is a company that supplies like portrait boxes and mats to photographers. And they've been around forever, and they're a really good company. And they asked me to speak specifically on the subject of marketing and advertising, because I've spoken about that in the past with various things. So I sent an email to my email list to let people know that I was doing it, and a few people asked if I could upload it to the YouTube channel after I'd done it. So that's why I'm doing this. I was allotted half an hour, and I spoke essentially on three things. And the first thing was basically importance of marketing and advertising in general. I get into that a bit. And then the second component to it was I talk about the types of Facebook ads that you can run, which are essentially three. And I comment about what I feel are the most effective based on my experience to date. Because I do a lot of advertising. And then the third thing was three free things that you can do to get clients now, and also to reduce your advertising spend in general, and things that I feel you should be doing.
Get straight into it. So again, my name is Richard Grenfell. I'm in Australia. I'm in a place called Queensland on the Sunshine Coast, and my studio is called Thrive Photography. These days we do boudoir and commercial portraiture, headshots and whatnot. And let me just get into it. It's nice to see some familiar faces here. I've got a few friends here which have turned up, which is very nice of you, by the way, because you must be sick of hearing me. Okay, so the first thing is, why listen to me? Like, what would I know? So I've been in business since my 20s. Okay, I've advertised heaps going back to like the yellow pages and newspaper era, spending tens of thousands of dollars a year, like literally. This studio is my third serious business. I started my first company from scratch in my 20s with no money at all, which is pathetic, but went on to sell it for an arse load of money, which I'm actually very proud of to this day. My second company existed for 14 years, which I wound down to start this studio when I saw how excellent the business of photography could be. I had no idea. And then I found out, I was like, oh my God, this is the best kept secret I've ever heard. The amount of money that's available in photography. But anyway, with all my previous experience and what I've learned from photography mentors and friends, I can now easily use advertising, marketing, whatever you want to call it, to generate all the leads I need and turn that into 40 to 60 grand a month consistently. Okay. We're in the process of scaling to $1 million a year at the moment. At the moment, I'm doing that 40 to 60, just me and my wife and a bunch of subcontractors. Okay. But not unfortunately, fortunately, we have to expand, which means employing people again, which is a different discussion, obviously. And that's that. So that's me. Take that what you will. Now, what is marketing? Okay, so I looked it up in the dictionary for this course. I'd never looked it up. It's allegedly, according to the Webster's dictionary, it is the activity or business of promoting and selling products or services. In other words, letting people know you exist and what you do. That's pretty much it in a nutshell. Okay. But first, I want to talk about the importance of advertising and marketing in general. This gets overlooked all the time. I actually remember, like back in the day, talking to accountants. They were often against advertising, which is weird, but I won't get into that. But in a nutshell, and Joel kind of touched on this just before a little bit, and that is you cannot get bookings or build a business unless people know about you. It is literally impossible. That is like the very first thing. And it's in the marketing and advertising, or what it's all the same thing, is what everyone neglects. You know what I mean? People think that they're going to find us or whatever, but that's not the case. And as creative people, I think it is very easy to get stuck in our own heads and forget there's a whole wide world of people out there that can be our clients. And what I mean by we get stuck in our own heads is, and I'm guilty of this to this day, I get really busy, I'm flat out all day every day, kind of what Joel was talking about, busy being busy. And then you kind of think you're awesome and, you think you're important and you think that people know about you. And that's not the case. No one knows about us and no one cares. So we've got to keep on top of the marketing and advertising. Okay. I believe you can build a business through word of mouth, right? The classic word of mouth thing, but it's very, very slow and very, very limiting. I think that should be just one component of your marketing is generating referrals. Okay. But on its own, it's very, very slow business. The fastest way to do it, in my opinion, just my opinion, is via paid advertising. Okay. So there's that. Now, some random notes about advertising in general. Advertising is only expensive if it does not work. My dad used to say that all the time. My dad owned car dealerships for over 20 years. He had Nissan and BMW dealerships, and he used to say it all the time. It was actually really good. he was always up to things when it came to marketing and advertising. My dad, he used to get comedians do ads for him and all sorts of stuff. But it's really important to remember that I've seen this before. Like even when it does work, people bitch about the cost of advertising, and they forget that without the marketing spends, you don't get the clients. It's just that simple, you know. So there's that. Worth mentioning, I think that real businesses spend 5 to 12% of their projected turnover on marketing and factor that in as a cost of doing business. And I mean big businesses. I don't mean small businesses like ours. I'm talking proper, real, like Coca-Cola, McDonald's, Rolex, Louis Vuitton, Apple, all those brands that everyone knows. And you would think they wouldn't have to do it anymore because everyone knows who they are, but they continue to do it because they get it, they understand. And so that you think about that, like these billion-dollar companies, you know, spending $100 million a minimum a year on branding and advertising. It's nuts. But as small operators, which is what anyone under a few million bucks is a small operator in the world of business. But as small operators like all of us, I would imagine, I can't imagine anyone here being, maybe there is, maybe there are people over three, like our guy Mark, who's hosting this, he'd be over 3 million, I imagine, easily. But as small operators, we should be looking at least about 5% of our turnover as a marketing budget getting started. That's just my opinion. So putting that into numbers, if you, like, say you're doing this part-time, and you want $100,000 a year to add to your turnover, then you probably should be spending about five to $10,000 a year on marketing. That again, that's just my opinion. If you want to turn over $500,000, you're 500,000 a year, then you need to be spending between 25 to 50,000 a year on marketing, in my opinion. Okay. Um, and your marketing budget can be all things marketing. It doesn't have to be just paid advertising. It could be joining BNI, it can be sign writing your car, it could be going and joining the Chamber of Commerce and talking to people, taking people out to lunch, whatever it is. But just you need to spend money on this. I mean, uh, social media's made it really easy with a lot of free stuff, but at the same time, it's harder now. You got to tip some money into this. So that's my rant about that. But before we talk about the actual advertising, I want to talk about just a few little things that I do not hear talked about very much. Okay. The first thing, because now, I can't, just for the sake of transparency, I came into the industry quite late. Okay. I did my first wedding in 2017. So I hazard a guess that a good portion of the people here have been doing this longer than me. So I came into this as a business decision rather than a creative decision. Okay. But I'm blown away, excuse me, about the endless discussions online in groups about gear, about this and that. And I promise you, my experience has been it's completely meaningless. And in my opinion, the photography industry in general, manufacturers, industry bodies, educators, the what's a name in America, which I can't remember the name of, have brainwashed us into thinking that it's about the gear, about being your true self, whatever that means. No one knows what that means, in my opinion. No one cares. Shooting in exotic locations and all that thing. If you go and shoot in Hawaii or Alaska or somewhere like that, the people are saying, oh my God, this person's shooting in Hawaii and Alaska, I'm going to book them in. No, that's not the case. No one does that, in my opinion. In the vast majority of cases, in my opinion, is your clients care in the slightest about what gear you have, and they don't want to know. All they want to do is look good. I equate it to going to a mechanic. I don't care what tools he's got. I just want the car to work when I go and pick the bloody thing up. You know what I mean? They just don't care. Also, your clients just don't care whether you've won any awards or not. Like they just don't care. In my opinion, the only good thing about winning awards is it establishes a small amount of credibility on your webpage. Now, I've had my awards on my webpage now for years. I can, you know how many people have asked me about the awards? I'm completely serious. None. Not one person has ever asked me about the awards I've won. Not one. Not one. So again, this is that thing about the industry kind of brainwashing us into thinking about that. Side note, and I heard this is not my thinking. This is another guy, a friend of mine called Steve's. He actually said once, he said if photographers spent the amount of time they spent worrying about entering photography awards into putting that effort into pleasing their clients or finding new clients, we're probably doing pretty well. You know what I mean? So that's another one of those time suck things that don't matter that Joel was kind of alluding to before. I'm not saying it's not a good idea, like it's good to improve. That's not what I'm saying at all. But to think it's the magic bullet to getting clients is false in my opinion. In my opinion. Um, they really don't care about your style. I see that all. Have you ever seen those posts in Facebook groups you get on your community group? Some poor random person will ask the question, oh, I'm having a wedding in October. Can anyone recommend a photographer? And 7 million people will chime in and go, oh, well, I'm available. And if you like my style, maybe we can get together and chat. No, no one cares about your style. I promise you. All they really don't. And they really don't care, like I kind of alluded to before, if you've shot in Alaska, Hawaii. I'm sorry if anyone thinks otherwise, but that's just my opinion. That's just my opinion. Okay, this is just my opinion again, but what clients and potential clients actually care about are that they like and trust you. Trust is the main thing in business. Honestly, that like is a bonus, but trust is the biggest factor. If you stop and think about all the all the ongoing interactions you have in your personal life with business people, I'm not talking one-off little things. I'm talking about trusted people like accountants and lawyers and doctors and that type of thing. Think about whether you trust them or not and whether that's been an ongoing factor. I think you'll find it probably is. They care that they care you'll do what you, hang on, do what you say you will do. Meaning, if you're a portrait studio and you're doing a thing for an anniversary, that you'll deliver the damn thing in time for their anniversary. Or if you're a wedding photographer, you'll turn up on the day. And the other thing, and deliver on your promises. So if you promise to get kind of the same thing, isn't it? But if you promise to get things to them, that you do that, and they want to look good. That's been my experience. I think that kind of trumps everything, actually. That's all people care about. They want to look good in the photos. So in your marketing, you need to convey those things. You need to, in other words, you need to take the focus off us, okay? Not talk about how awesome we are, because no one cares. I can guarantee you that. And talk about how we can help them. That's, in my opinion, if you can do that, you're going a long way towards towards a good thing. Now, I see this all the time again in more the business groups. There's a whole bunch of business Facebook groups out there. And the thing that repetitively comes up is, does Facebook and Instagram advertising still work? Just too long didn't read answer is yes, it does still work if you know how to do it. A random observation, just for those of you who advertised in the past, and I'm sure there's plenty of people who have, yes, it has. The price has gone up. It's not just you. It's not. You're not doing anything wrong. The cost of advertising has gone up. I've heard it said by people who understand more about this than me that in fact Facebook was grossly undervalued in the advertising space there for quite a while. I remember doing it when I first started this back in a little while ago. I would throw just any random advertisement up, spend $100 and get 50 leads. It was almost free. It was so cheap. But having said that, it still blows my mind how effective it is in the sense that because I come from the old days where you'd have to roll the dice with $10,000 on a newspaper thing. The fact you could spend a few $100 and see if something works just blows my mind how easy it is. You know what I mean? But it does cost more than it used to. So if you used to advertise and it's gone up, it's true, it has gone up. You just have to spend more. That's the one constant with advertising in general is it always just goes up over time. That's been going on since the 50s, so don't worry about that. I still get about 60% of my clients a month as a direct result of paid ads, like a direct result. The rest of them I get through word of mouth and referrals and that type of thing. I have friends doing better than us, who own multi-million dollar studios who have built their businesses and continue to grow on the back of paid ads. They still work. So you might need some help, you might need some help from someone like Joel, but it does work. Now, a brief guide to advertising. I've only got 30 minutes to spend here, so I'm only just going to talk about just the general concepts about Facebook ads specifically, nothing else. And my hope is that I capture your interest a little bit, inspire you to learn more and how to go about figuring out how to do it yourself. And again, someone like Joel can help you with that, I believe. I know you've helped some of my friends, Joel, with that, but he can hook you up on how to do this a bit better. But in a nutshell, now, there are three types of offers that most photographers can offer out there. Okay. The first offer is some sort of special or some sort of basic deal, some sort of like mini sessions or 20% off a portrait shoot, free engagement session with a wedding, whatever. Okay. We see these ads every single day of the week, 20% off baked beans at the supermarket, free chicken at the RSL on Tuesdays or whatever the case may be. Um, I've found that that style of advertising, just that general awareness style of advertising, doesn't work very well in general. It tends to work best. I've found with people who have some awareness of who we are or even just previous clients will see it and contact us. I find for cold audiences, it doesn't work very well. The offer is not strong enough, and your ad just sits there in a sea of advertisements that looks the same as everyone else's. So that's just been that's what I've just found there. So I think that's where people go wrong looking for new clients. Just they'll throw money at that type of thing. And it just, in my opinion, you might jag the odd one, but you can't rely on it. Has been my experience. The second one is a compelling offer of some sort. It's usually some sort of selection process, like a competition, or you're selecting them, whatever the case may be, where they understand that they will be spending money, but getting a really good deal. And the classic one is like in the world of portrait studios anyway, is a free shoot and $100 off wall art or packages. Okay, so meaning they can come in, do the shoot, and they will get $100 off whatever. So the risk there obviously is that they might not spend anything, but whatever, I mean, that's you're better off having a crack than not having a crack. Sorry, to the Americans, you're better off having a go at it rather than not having a go at it, if that makes sense. That's quite a popular one. I've just personally found, and it's different in every area. I've shown people how to do these ads in the past, and they just kill it. You go, oh my God, like they get like a million leads and they absolutely kill it. I find that this offer doesn't work terribly well in an area where this offer has been done a lot already. Now, in my area, I'm competing with a number of studios locally and in the nearby city, where I'm competing on a daily basis with their offers that look like that. Okay, so I'm finding that this is becoming less and less effective. Okay, that's just what I'm finding. Okay, but it depends where you are. Okay, you need to throw some ads up to figure out if it will work for you. Then the third one, this is the big one, is a competition style ad or some sort of selection thing where participants can go to your studio or wherever and leave with something and not pay for anything. And let me explain what I'm talking about. So normally it's a competition style ad. And so the offer is usually come in and do the thing, come in and do the session for free, and you can leave with a single small print for free. Okay. This has been going on forever, by the way. This is a really old thing, but it's still honestly the most powerful one out of all of them. And this is what I'm doing mainly now. Now, we're a boudoir studio, so we're risking hair and makeup. We're risking a couple $100 on hair and makeup for them to come in and try and do this. But if you do it well, if you get like what Joel was just talking about, where you put them through a experience, rather, a friction-based experience where you've got lots of touch points and the whole thing's structured and you know what the hell you're doing. I haven't had a no sale in a number of years now. My average sales well over $3,000. So it can be done, but you got to know how to do it. So I was chatting to Anita, who's on here this morning, about a mutual friend, and I advised our mutual friend not to jump into this straight away because you need some help. You need to get your mind right with it because to put it bluntly, it can fuck you up if you don't know what you're doing mentally. You know what I mean? And it's not for the faint of heart. You do need excellent systems on the back end to convert these people into high-paying clients. So I think this is amazing, and it can be a magic bullet, provided you got all the other stuff in place. I'm sure Joel would be very, very, very aware of this, but it does work really well. Pushing ahead, closing comments on running ads. Get some help if you have never done it before. You need to know how to do all this to make it all work. Okay. I don't mean how to run the ad. I don't mean that bit. That's the easy bit. In fact, I've got a really good website for that on how to make ads if you want. If you might want to write this down. It's called www.google.com. If you go there and type in how to run an ad, I promise you'll find out how to do it. I'm talking about more the back end stuff on how to convert these people into good clients. Okay. But if you start doing this and you're having trouble with it, don't give up. Give yourself permission to suck. Seriously, it's the only way you're going to get better. It's not easy. Like this is hard, but I promise you, if you get the hang of it, it is like the magic key to the kingdom. It really is. But kind of what Joel was touching on before, you got to be right here for this to work. Otherwise, it all falls apart. I just kind of said that, didn't I? You get the hang of this. It's like the ticket to the golden factory. All right. I did promise. How am I going for time? I'm going well. All right. Some free things that you can do today to get bookings and get started on marketing. And you should be doing this stuff anyway, by the way, in my opinion. So this following is marketing stuff that you can do for free, get bookings, increase the performance of your paid ads. That's the critical bit. I really mean that. Like you can really your ads can start costing you less to get leads and reduce your advertising spend if you're advertising or thinking about running paid ads. Step one, Free leads. Create a list of all your past clients. Do it. Get all the contacts on your phone and all your friends on social media and stick it on a spreadsheet or write them down on a piece of paper. Doesn't matter. Figure out a compelling offer to present to them. It doesn't matter. Whatever you think's a good idea. Like it can be like a free shoot and a free print. It can be a free shoot and a free digital. Whatever you want to do, okay? But just figure out something that you think that these people would like. You know them. They're your friends and past clients. I can't tell you what to do. You know them better than me. Contact these people one at a time, preferably via a phone call where you can, okay? And tell them about and just explain to them that you are you're about to create an offer that you're going to present to the public, and you want to present it to your friends and past clients first because you have limited spaces. And in terms and just speaking, touching on something really briefly, if you do talk about limited spaces, just tell the truth. Like if you, I would imagine that most people who can't manage more than 30 shoots a month, for example, at the most. And if that's the case, just say I'm limiting this to 30 people. Or if you're doing 3 shoots a week, say I'm limiting this to 12 people a month, or whatever the case may be. But just tell the truth. It's really simple. So I kind of just touched on this. An example might be a free shoot with an option to buy artwork, a special deal, percentage off, whatever. But whatever you think your people that you know and have worked with in the past will like. Random tip. Just the act of calling your past clients will generate bookings, I promise you. I remember when I started in boudoir, I had this lady who I really liked. And, she's a very tall Chinese woman, which is unusual. She's a podiatrist. And I rang her and said, hey, do you want to do a boudoir shoot? I need portfolio. And she said, no, but can you come and shoot? Can you come and photograph my staff, please? Because she owns a podiatry studio. And I said, okay. And that was like just an easy booking. I'm serious. If you just contact your past clients, wedding clients especially, whatever, if you're a wedding photographer, and just tell them what's going on, and just say hello, you'll be amazed how many bookings you get. Because I do it. I do it every now and then, and I get bookings every time I do it. Reviews. Work on your Google reviews. Okay, if you have not done so, send a link to your past clients and request a review. There's a thing in the Google Business Manager where you can just copy and paste the link from. It is critical to have good reviews. I'm really serious. So when people Google you to check you out and ensure that you're not a scam, having a nice Google profile with a good number of 5-star reviews can be completely beneficial. It's credibility at a glance you want. I think that Google reviews are far more credible than useless Facebook reviews. Plus, they are fantastic for your SEO, meaning search engine optimization, meaning people finding you when they Google you. And then once you get those reviews, screen grab those reviews, post them on your website and use them as posts on social media. It goes back to what I was talking about at the beginning. People will book people they know, like, and trust. Okay. So do that. Please. All right. Now, this blows my mind. I can't even believe you have to say this. Post stuff to social media. For the love of God. Post the stuff to your social media at least once a week, more often the better, every day if possible. If nothing else, it just shows that you're trading, that you're active, and again gives you credibility that you're not just sitting. The amount of photographers I know who have been photographers for longer than me, whose social profiles are just have tumbleweeds blowing through them. And the last post I made was like 3 years ago or something. You think, what is wrong with you people? And what I mean by that is we've got the content. We take photos for God's sake, and it's just so easy. So for the love of God, post your social media on a very regular basis. And in my opinion, the important thing is that you post on a regular basis and establish a posting cadence. That's a fancy word for saying you might always post on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays at 6 o'clock. It's really weird. People get used to seeing the same thing over and over again. We have a tradition in our studio where every single client who comes in, I get a photo standing next to them, next to our welcome sign. We've got a welcome sign, like welcome, Rebecca or whatever. And I'll get a really cheesy photo of me going to the camera. But people are so used to seeing that every single day when we shoot that they associate that with us being busy. The amount of comments that Tracy and I get where they say, gee, you've been busy. And the only reason they're aware that we're busy is because we post that picture every time. Does that make sense, Job? Yeah, cool. Final thoughts. Okay. This is a lot simpler than it all looks. In my opinion, the main thing is just to keep at it. I think, just my opinion, that too many people give up too easily. I'm serious. Everyone gives up these days. I don't know what's going on. Like in the old days, everyone kind of had a bit more. I sound like a really old bastard, but it's true. People just seem to give up too easily, in my opinion. But just because something is simple doesn't make it easy. I personally think that the simple things are the hard things to do. And again, it's kind of like that thing Joel talked about. I force myself to get up every morning. I've got the worst journal you ever seen in your life. I buy one of those business diaries each year, and I write in there my goals in the morning. I write some affirmations, and I write what I'm grateful for. And it's a pain in the ass, but I do it every day, or 99% of the time. Sometimes I'll miss, and I try and meditate every day, which I'm awful at. I'm just really, really bad at it. I know what's wrong with me. Anyway, I was horrible at all these things at the beginning of my photographic journey. I had no idea about photography, like none. But I got there in the end. So just treat it as a journey. Again, I mentioned this before. I think give yourself permission to suck. You're not going to be awesome at any of this until you put in the repetitions. My other tip is find a small group of people you could go on this journey with. It is way easier with a positive peer group. And I just mean a small group of friends. I'm in a little Facebook Messenger thing. I think there's a few of us. And we chat most days, and most times we just give each other shit. We talk about football and this and that, and argue and just hang shit on each other. But when someone's going through a hard time or things aren't going right, we can bounce ideas off each other. I think it's important to have, because it can be a lonely business, this, especially if it's something like this where majority of people work on their own. So I think it's worth establishing a little bit of a peer group if you can. So coming to things like this can be a good way to meet those types of people, because the fact that everyone's here means people want to do better. So that's an excellent start before you do anything. And this is a big one. Honestly, only 5% of people, this is according to stats I've read, according to 5% of people who attend webinars like this or do courses or read books will follow through or do anything. Okay. And then only 1% will persevere with it. So if you can be one of that 1%, help raise the bar of photography industries in general and become the definition of success of whatever that is for you, because everyone's definition of success is different. Just because I want to make $1 million a year doesn't mean you do. Your definition of success might be doing 2 shoots a week and spending the rest of the time in a red dressing gown eating cheesels and watching Netflix. And if that's what you want to do, that's absolutely fine. Who am I to judge? I don't care what you want to do. But whatever your definition of success is, I would love everyone to do it. And you can do it, I promise you. If I can do it, anyone could do it, I can guarantee it. My final tip is, seriously, it is so easy to beat everyone else, your competition. It is so easy because the vast, vast majority of people give up, like kind of what Joel was talking about before. People don't continue to do the hard things. If you can do the hard things, you'll be absolutely fine. But yeah, if you can learn, but in my opinion, just to wrap this up, I think that if you can learn how to market and get leads, actually, I'll just go off a quick side note. I was chatting to Anita's here somewhere. I was chatting to Anita about this earlier. Is that I used to say that I was in the business of people. That's what I used to. I now say I'm in the business of leads, because without the leads, I can't make the bookings. Without the bookings, I can't be in the business of people. So so this is, in my opinion, marketing is the most critical thing you can do for the lifeblood of business. I'm talking about business stuff only. I'm not talking about for personal health or anything like that. I'm talking about for your business. Finally, that's it. You guys are awesome. I really thank you for your time and attention.
So there you go. I hope you got something out of that. My goal was to give some actionable steps and give some things that you can do now to get started on marketing and to get some clients. If you did get something out of this and you're not subscribed to the channel, I would love you to subscribe. If you are already subscribed to the channel, I'd love to hear your comments below. If you've done any of these things, or if you would like to do some of these things. Until next time, keep smiling, and thank you for watching. I really appreciate it.